You're watching the menu and we're going all healthy this season. I'm bringing you foods that are healthy recipes, very little ingredients, things that you can find so easily in your cupboard, in the local supermarket. You know, eating healthy does not have to be expensive and it does not have to be boring and dull. I've got some oil going on in here. I'll just put it aside because it's already smoking. Well, I'll just tell you a bit about what I'm going to be doing right now. Right, I've got some oats from Glide Time. These are one of the people that we found on the market with the greatest and healthiest food product line. And then we're using their oats. They've got a product line with honey, with all those beautiful healthy granola. And for this recipe, I'm doing an oat stir fry. So what I need is some steak. Some real beautiful steak with no bone. And it has to be very thin so that it can easily be stir fried in about 3 to 4 minutes. You know, this is the good thing about a stir fry. It has to be just a couple of minutes and it's done. Right. So I'm cutting across the grain. Why? So that my meat does not toughen when I'm cooking, because I don't want to be spending the whole day in the kitchen. Right. My oil goes back. The lid goes open. I've got about 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil. I need to fry my meat first. Another rule of thumb when you're doing a stir fry is that when you look at your fruits and your vegetables, start with what takes longest in the pan. So because my meat will take longer than my peppers and my carrots, I need to put this in first. Okay, in goes. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, give it a toss. You know, the good thing about choosing the right type of steak is that it will take shorter when you're cooking it. And then my carrots. At an angle like this, I'll just cut some rings and then go across it to make some matchsticks. Just like that. So that they cook easily and very fast. Remember, we're making a stir fry. Stir fry has to be easy, it has to be fast, it has to be beautiful. Right, because I did strips with my meat, I'll do strips again with the rest of my vegetables. If you are going to be doing some cubes with your meat, you do cubes with the rest of the vegetables so that you've got some uniformity. Right. There goes my veggies. Into my beef. Or I can just leave it a little bit longer. I'm liking this. It's already looking beautiful. I've got some browning going on, meaning it's ready for my carrots. Now I've got some onion, half of an onion. Right, the rest goes away. Peel off the shell. Now I'll leave the bottom of my onion on so that when I cut it, it does not disintegrate. So just a rough chop across. Remember, we're doing strips. Right, and then because that's done, I can now remove the back. Very easy, very simple. This is the good thing about home cooking. You don't need to spend the whole day in the kitchen. Just a few minutes and you've got a beautiful, lovely meal going on. Give that a toss. Now, usually I would use a garlic ginger paste, which is just garlic and ginger that have been mixed together and ground. But because I don't have that, I've got some spices with me, some paprika, I've got some ginger, some garlic in powder form. I also have some barbecue. It goes in. Right. The good thing about a stir fry is just that. It takes 5 minutes. Now, I need about a quarter each of green, red, and yellow pepper. The reason why I use them all is just for the beautiful color, nothing in particular. Now, just cut these into strips again. Because we're doing some strips throughout, it has to be uniform. And those are some of the things that we teach you when we're doing meal planning. People eat with their eyes. So whatever you give them should be uniform, should be beautiful to look at. Right. In goes my green pepper. Remove the seeds. You don't need that. They can be a bit bitter. But if you just like some heat, some sort of heat, you can keep those in. Right. I always keep a few just for that extra kick. This goes in. Lastly, yellow. The good thing about this meal is that I can already eat this as a meal on its own without adding my oats. But because I did promise you an oat stir fry, I need to put it in somewhere. A bit of salt again. Always season your food. There's nothing as irritating as unseasoned food. I'm having an oat stir fry, and the reason why I decided on oats is because it's got 100 grams lesser calories than rice. So why not? We're going healthy, remember, and this is the menu. Right, I've got some green, red, yellow pepper. Look at how beautiful that looks. I've got some carrot in there for some crunch. Some beef. You know, I've always said, they love their beef. So, you know, sometimes when you're cooking, you just don't have to be too particular. Maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of coconut from Glytine. Just mix this in. Right. So I've got a Caribbean feel, a Caribbean vibe going on. Right, all I need. I boiled my oats. So as I put them in, bit by bit, I don't want them to overpower the rest of the ingredients. So I just mix them in and then see if I need to add in some more. This is Caribbean style cooking. I've got some coconut. I can almost feel like going for some mango, but anyway, it's okay. It might be a bit too much for the others. So, right. You can actually add in some coconut milk right here, but I'll be adding in some soy. So it's like a Chinese Caribbean fusion. And there goes a healthy, delicious meal, courtesy of Glytine Foods. So I'll be right back to show you how to plate this up. You know, every time I heard about vegetarian foods, it was always like, for me. But until I knew food is all about the way you cook it, and then that's how you can only enjoy it. So right now I'll show you how to make some vegetable meatballs. Right, so some oil in a pan, and that goes onto the stove. I need it to come up to about a medium heat, something like that. And then I've got some cabbage, I've got some carrots, I've got some peppers, some onion, and a grater. All I need to do is grate all this stuff. Now if you've got a blender, all the better. Grate, grate, grate. And because this is a huge head of cabbage, I'll just be doing this for the next couple of minutes, and I'll be right back to show you how to proceed. So what I have here is some shredded cabbage, shredded carrot, green, red, and yellow pepper. Now, this can just be any vegetable of your choice. So all I need to do now is to mix the lot together. So maybe let me bring this here. The peppers, the cabbage, the carrots. And because every time you grate vegetables, what they do is they've got some liquid that comes out. Take a clean dish towel and then just mix this and squeeze it out to get all the water out. I think I need to just go in with my hands right here. So because there's too much liquid in here, if I try to make these into meatballs, all it will do is just disintegrate because of all the liquid. So I just need to grab a dish towel, squeeze this out, and then I'll show you how to shape them into those beautiful meatballs. So I'm making some vegetable meatballs. So in here I've got some cabbage, I've got some red, green, yellow pepper. I also have some carrots. I'll add in some corn flour. Remember, we squeezed it out. Every time you grate this cabbage or carrot, and they contain lots and lots of water. So you need to just take all that water out. Now in goes some flour. Just a couple of tablespoons, about 2 or 3. Right. I need to mix that up and then see if I'm able to bind this into some beautiful meatballs. If you squeeze them and then you find that they're coming together perfectly like this, they're ready to turn into meatballs. So now all you need to do is determine your size. Right, this is a perfect meatball size. And just with your hands, give it some love. Yep. This is called a veggie Manchurian. It's a veggie meatball. And what I'm going to do is pair this with beautiful honey sauce, all from Glytime Foods. Right, so I'll continue to have almost the same size of meatballs throughout. Who says eating healthy has to be boring and dull? My daughter actually goes to a vegan school. It's a Hindu society school, so we had no meat, no eggs for the past 7 years. So you had to learn how to make these beautiful, luxurious meals just using veggies. Now I know a lot of people would say that I don't like cabbage, but trust me, after having this meatball, you're gonna be one of the fans of cabbage. I actually grow a lot in my garden. Right now I've got over 200 herbs just to make this beautiful meal. Okay, so, yep, and now my oil has heated and my balls have been nicely coated. Yep, they're coming together beautifully. I think I've got 1 or 2 more left. Right, remember to season your food. Always season your food. There's nothing as irritating as having food that's so under-seasoned. It just takes away all the luxury of eating. Yeah, so this clears away my bowl. This is the last veggie bowl that I have. Right, so let me just wash my hands and I'll come back in a bit. So I've got some seasoned flour here. I'm just seasoning it with a bit of salt. You can put some pepper, black or white pepper. Yep. So I'm just giving my bowls a little toss in this flour so that they don't take up too much oil. Then in goes. I love this. So I need about 2 or 3 minutes on each side. And I've got some lovely meatballs. Remember I said I'm pairing this with a beautiful honey and soy sauce. Luxury, health, all in one. Whoever thought the two could go in hand. So my meatballs have browned and now I'm just ready to take them out onto a pepper plate. Now the good thing about this is you can actually just put them in crumbs but I'm gonna be using mine with some honey sauce. So I'll just put this aside onto a paper to just absorb all the oil. I'll put this pan away. And now for the sauce. I'm gonna need about 3/4 cup of water. I'll need some honey, about 3/4 cups. I mean, this is about, yeah, roughly 1/2 to 3/4 cups of honey. Pure honey from Glytime Foods. Now these are local producers, our own local manufacturers that are giving us the healthiest foods and brands on the market. So I need to add in some soy sauce. Right. So I'll just let this simmer for a few minutes before I add in a slurry of cornstarch and a bit of water to just thicken this all up before I dunk in my vegetable meatballs. So I'm making a honey sauce. What I did, I put some vegetables, mixed that with some cornstarch and some flour, made this beautiful, beautiful meatballs. And now I've got a slurry, which is just corn flour and a bit of water into my honey, just to thicken this. I just need this to thicken for about 2 to 3 minutes before adding in my meatballs, and then I'll have some beautiful meatballs in some honey sauce. So it's really thickening. I can see it bubble away. Just a recap of what we did. We had some cabbage. I had some green, yellow, and red pepper. I also had some carrots. What we did is we took all those ingredients, we grated them very finely, then we took a dishcloth and then squeezed out all the excess liquid from the vegetables. Because if you don't do that, you will not be able to form these balls because they'll just disintegrate. And then I added in some cornstarch. I also added in some flour. Also remember to put some seasoning. Always season your food. Salt and pepper, and then a bit of spices if you like. You can go on with chili if you're a person who loves chili. If it was my daughter cooking, definitely you would have some chili in here, but I'm not a chili person, but I think it works perfectly for this meal. And then now I'll need to take back my meatballs, put them in to the honey sauce. This is looking beautiful. Just give it a toss and let me show you how this looks. This is looking beautiful. So all I need 3 or 4 minutes just to allow that honey sauce to just marry beautifully with my meatballs, and then I'll serve. So my meatballs are done, the sauce is done. All that's I'm left to do is serve. So I've got a beautiful platter just to go with my beautiful meatballs. The honey sauce is looking divine. I love this. I just love it when a meal comes together. And now some more sauce. Why not? Okay, so that goes away. Let's see how we can just play around with color. And there. Right. Just a little bit of herbs to decorate this, and there you have a beautiful plate of veg Manchurian, which is a vegetable meatball. The good thing about eating healthy is whether you want to go for a dessert, a breakfast, a main meal, or a starter, you can all do that using healthy ingredients. And I've got some Glytime ingredients with me here, some raisins, natural sugars. This is just grapes that have been dried. I've got some granola, And now I'm about to do a dessert that we call apple crumble. All I need for my apple crumble is some apples, some honey, some sugar, some margarine, and then I stew this up, top it with some granola, and have a luscious meal. Okay, now my apples, wash these and cut them into cubes. Just because I don't like staying too long in the kitchen, I'll just basically cook my apples, stew them down, and then add my granola, some natural yogurt, and I've got a dessert made for kings and queens just like me. Alright, now my second apple. You don't need to be very particular about how you cut it, rustic. You can actually come into the kitchen with the kids and they can really enjoy helping out and then eat all the scraps and bits that come out of your apple. Again, into cubes. Alright. Now, if you're sugar diabetic, you can actually use honey or a sweetener for this dessert. This goes away. Into my pot, all the apples. Right, I need to remove away all those pieces. Then put my apples into a pot. Now, I just need to clear this off and then I'll be right back. Right, I've got some apples and they're going onto the stove. I need to add in some butter, just about 2 or 3 tablespoons. I need it here with me. And then I need some honey, just a little bit of honey, just a touch. Right, I also have some sugar. Now, all I need to do is stew this just for a couple of minutes until my apples have broken down. Right, so while this stews down, it needs about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll tell you about a product that I'll be using, some Glytime granola. So originally when you're doing an apple crumble, you need to use some breadcrumbs or biscuits. But I like using honey granola because it's got 1, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, pure honey, sunflower seeds. All the goodness, the richness of all the seeds are in this granola. And you know the good thing about seeds is that they help in oxidizing your blood so that it moves perfectly throughout your body. Right, so this is going to be my topping. So all I need is to open it, add it into a bowl, right. I just need a few grains just to put on top of my apple crumble. As you can see, the honey and the sugar has melted, the margarine has melted, and it's giving off that beautiful sort of a sauce. So I need to maintain that. But still my apples are still a bit tough. So I'll let them go for about 4 or 5 minutes as I melt this honey in my microwave. So I'll just melt my margarine in the microwave with a bit of honey and my granola just for a few minutes, and then I'll top this on top of my apple crumble. You're watching the menu, and whether it's a dessert, main course, or a starter, we got you covered, all in healthy foods. Right here I've got some vegetable meatballs in some honey sauce, and then I did an oat stir fry. You had me right. This is an oat stir fry. Instead of using rice, what I did is I used some oats because oats are a healthier option to rice. And then I've got some apple crumble in here. I've used oats instead of cookies or breadcrumbs. And then I'll just top this up with some natural yogurt. Add a touch of strawberries and you're good to go. Thank you so much for watching the menu. Remember, your health is your wealth. Brought to you by Glytime Foods.